Hey, welcome back to part 4. Today we'll continue working on the client for the XP rate changer. So let's get right back into it. So what we want to start with is create the buttons for this. And I again will say check on the link in the description to learn everything about the buttons. I will just write the code for it and show you how it's done and how it's set up. So now, let's start. Let's begin here. So XP, since we need 4 buttons for one for each of the experience rates to change, we want to create 4 buttons. So we want to write XP XP5 underscore BTN just for button. This is again just a name. It's just making it easier for me to understand what, like, just at a glance what it's about. Here I know this is the XP5 button. So let's say equals to create frame, and here it's a button. And what we want to name this is important because this is how we want to check if we are clicking on which button we're like. If we clicked on 5, then we know that's the first one to select. So this is important. Name it this something that makes sense. So for me, XP space 5 is fine. I know that's the button for rate 5. Now, comma, frame, because it's the frame that we want to connect this button with. So now we created the frame. So now we want to actually create the name, or sorry, not the name, the size of it, that size. And here, that's the size we want to go with for these buttons. Then we say XP5 button again, colon, set point again. Here, this will be the center of the frame, and then center again. And that's good enough for this button. Now we want to say here, button again, colon, enable mouse. We want to enable so that you can click on it. And then what we want, I will copy a few things here just to make it a little faster. We want to set the script so that we can clear the focus on the button. So when you clicked it and you move your mouse up, we don't want to keep having it pressed down. So this is a small way to do it. So instead of having a standalone function like here, you can write function and then just the code for it and then end. Next, we want to give it the texture. I will explain what this does. So here, give texture, local texture, we create a texture, then we set the buttons. So the button 5 here. Then we create the texture, then we set the button, and we set the texture to all points of the button, so it fills out the whole button. Then we set the texture down here, and then we set it to the normal texture. So normal texture means that it's the like if you haven't clicked or highlighted it, that's the normal texture. Next, we want to actually create the font for it. So the font string again. So here, go down here. We want to create the font string, and that's the same as we did for the title. So just call it something font test or something. It doesn't really matter. It's just a font. Then you go here, and you see here we set the text for it, and that's times 5. And here you can see you set the font and stuff. Fonts you can add inside the MQP patches, you can add new fonts and then reference them here if you want. And the outline and monochrome is from something already built into WoW. So you can get these also. And this is the size of the text. Now, what we want to do is actually register a script for when you click on this button or any of the buttons. So here we say set script on click. These are events that exist inside WoW already. So on click is an event for buttons that exist. We want to click on click button. We actually want to call a function. So let's create one. Let's call it, what should I say? You know what? I will move it down here. Function. And then so let's call it on click button. And then in the argument btn for the button we clicked. Now let's just, for the sake of showing you how this works, we can say print. Then we can say hello from space and dot dot btn get name. This is a function to get the name of the button. So when I say get name, I get this. This is the name. So now we can copy this. So copy from the start here and all the way down to the set script. So here we can make a few spaces. So this is button 1. Copy that. Now let's copy all this. Now go ahead and move down a bit. This is gonna be a lot of lines here. So button 2, just so we can see it. Here we want to change that to 10. So copy this and then just paste it all over here. And make sure to make this 10. And then here, 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 and here, 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 here. Yes. Let's do that again. You can do this another way with a loop and stuff, but I think that's a little too in-depth for now. So I'll just do this since it's only 4 buttons, but otherwise you would do this dynamically with code in another way. But that's something for another day. So here we would basically just paste this in. This is gonna take a little bit. We want to set text to 15 here, and we also want to set it to 10 up here. I forgot about that, my bad. Now the last button here, button 4, and we know this is called 20, and we want to change to 20, and then you just go over all of these. It takes a bit of time to do this, but yeah, that's just how developing add-ons is, to be honest. Here, yes, let's see. Everything looks correct here. For the names and stuff, I need to change the size of the point, so where it's located, but for now I'm just making sure everything is set up here. So 5, 5, 10, 10, 15, 15, and 20, 20. Great. Now let's, I know what you could say the points are for my script here. It will be the same since you're following along. So you could just paste this in here. So we go to button 2. Always great to have comments like this. That's button 2. Now we want to set the point of button, what is called button 3. So I'll copy the code here. And then button 3, let me see where you are. Here. And then button 4. Button 4 is here. That's all. So now we actually have all our buttons created. So now let's head into WoW. I will catch you in game. Welcome back. So what you want to do now, if you had your server open while you did all those changes, you need to reload Eluna. So reload Eluna, and it will come up with this forcing the reload. And say yes. And now go under here, and you see we have our buttons. So I can click on one, and it will say hello from XP5, 20, 15, and 10. Reason that it's printing here and not in the server is because, as I talked about in the last episode, this is the client that Lua is basically running on the client. So that means it, when you say print here, you just print to the chat box. So that's basically just a way to debug most of the time. But that was all for today. In the next part, which is probably the last also, we will go ahead and actually make it so when you click these buttons, you change the XP rate. So for now, we have everything set up with the UI, and it's ready to just be functional. So see you in the next one.